Why, hello, YouTube peeps. It's actually my first time reading through a Mirage. The only Mirage I've read was Drea's. The other ones I haven't. So I think we need to read through everything eventually. But for now, since we have Eternal Nightmare with Shin, we'll go first with her. Aight? Newborn whispers are hidden within the black tide. She follows the sounds, peering into the abyssal depths, seeking only to witness the world's hidden truths. What happened to Shin, man? We'll see. Made her what made her decide to, go to the abyss? Oops, I forgot to remove this. Hold on. So you won't have distractions. Also, wow, Shin looks so young here. Also, sadly, it's not voice. So once again, you need to bear with my voice. I'm truly honored to receive this award. Allow me to express my sincerest thanks to the selection committee. I'm also deeply grateful to the people who have supported and inspired me on my academic journey. First, my family. Without their trust and support, I could not have dedicated myself so completely to my research. I feel their encouragement wherever I am. Their belief in me has been a constant source of motivation. A respectable middle aged couple applauds in the crowd, barely concealing their excitement as they bask in the envious stares Shin has brought them. Their eyes are filled with smug pride and self satisfaction, threatening to drown her. Those are probably her parents, huh? Shin stands in the study with her arms at her sides. The wood grain off the bookcases warps into countless shrewd, calculating eyes, watching and appraising her from every angle. Just like how her parents assess any family asset. God damn it. That's how you treat your daughter? Like a family asset? Not your loving, not in a loving way? Man. Families in Path to Nowhere are so messed up, man. I never expected Professor Wright to remember you, let alone write a recommendation letter. Choosing oceanography was the right move. It's obscure, challenging, but easy to make a name for yourself. You must seize this opportunity, Shin. That's right. Professor Wright knows better than anyone how to produce results in this field. With his guidance, you'll join the review committee or academy yourself one day. I'm so proud of you. But really, they just want her to achieve something. Is that how, is that how they think they could repay their kindness? What kind of parents are this, man? We're just starting, and yet I can feel it that these parents are, the usual, not really irresponsible, but not so parent like, parents in Path to Nowhere. Just stick with him, and you'll never have to worry about funding or awards. I heard his students secure 2 Class A projects last year. Who even cares what he's studying? Funding is power. You need to learn his methods, Shin. That's the real secret to a career in research and academia. In just a few years, you'll become the symbol of our branch, the greatest pride of the family. Shin observes her parents with cold detachment. This strange couple now shared the same rapturous expression, their eyes dreamy as if seeing, through their daughter, a grand banquet hall teeming with influential guests. Is this gaudy vision of fame and fortune truly more intoxicating than the pursuit of unfathomable mysteries and truths in the ocean depths? Of course, father, mother. I'm looking forward to studying under Professor Wright and continuing my research. Man, I hate parents like those who wants to force their children into things that they don't want in order to um make a name for themselves. Man, don't they think they don't even they don't even ask Shin, what do you want to do with your life? It's fine, honey. No, they're forcing what they want on her. No wonder she turned to the abyss. And of course, the person I wish to thank most is my mentor, Professor Wright. It was his wisdom that guided me into the fascinating world of marine science and helped me find my way whenever I felt lost. In the front row, Professor Wright gives a small, satisfied nod. A soft light glimmers in his eyes as if moved by the praise. But the gleam is too shallow to hide the greed and arrogance lurking beneath. Oh dear. Even his mentor is not a good person. I feel like he's normally you get mentor. Sometimes not normally. Sometimes you get mentors like this who wants to take credit from what their apprentice is researching. Oh no. Behind the elderly professor hangs a biological specimen collected on his last expedition before the perishing star arrived. Set in a glass case, it resembles a twisted pupil that has absorbed the ocean itself, gazing at Shin from its fathomless depths. I'm putting you on the next expedition. Don't worry, there won't be short-sighted opportunists aboard, just seasoned veterans. The route is conservative, steering clear of the unusually active zones. Everyone knows we're going to sea for publications, not adventure. Some young scholars are too ambitious. They're fascinated with evolution and unknown, always chasing some grand discovery. But once you've been in academia long enough, you realize that's the worst return on investment. It's much easier to produce results by building on what's already known. What the fuck? These people, and they call themselves researchers and from the academia. And yet, they're just researching what is already known. It goes against the spirit of learning. You are my brightest, most talented student, Shin. Remember what I've told you. When you're back, I'll guide you through a paper. You'll be the second author. I trust you'll master this approach quickly. See, I told you. This dude is a credit grabber, man. The eyes of the scholar, so long estranged from the sea, are brimming with cowardice and conceit. He no longer sees the ocean. Of course, Professor. I'm sure that final data will validate your theories. After all, you're the foremost authority on oceanography. You understand the changing seas better than anyone. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my family tutor who first set me on this path. Her guidance helped me build a solid foundation in the field, and her vision, always fixed on the horizon, showed me the infinite possibilities within the ocean. Oh, oh, I think she's not following the script. Uh-oh. A ripple of confused whispers spreads through the audience, but Shin seems not to hear it. Her gaze shifts for a moment to the side of the podium, as if a woman with a faint smile were standing there. Who is this? The woman before her loses her composure for only a second before her familiar smile returns. It's a smile of gentle, persevering resilience forged in the fires of endless setback. Her eyes are bright and warm, like sunlight penetrating the deep sea, guiding the newborn creatures breaking free from their shells. Your answer in the competition is quite interesting. I doubt the examiner intended it, but the question does relate to what you asked before. Why do deep sea creatures follow such unique evolutionary paths? Your thinking is on the right track. The poles and ocean trenches, places no one dares to go, are life's most extreme laboratories. The most dangerous the place, the more likely it is to hold possibilities that evolution has never shown us before. Most people are afraid, so they shrink from it. But you're different, Shin. I don't see fear or dread in your eyes, only curiosity and excitement. I believe that if anyone is ever to set foot in those unknown territories and witness the ultimate form of evolution, it would be you. The girl's gaze shifts from unfamiliar application form in front of her and settles on the woman's face. When their eyes meet, Shin feels as though her own eyes have been set ablaze by the light in her tutor's gaze. Then, she sees her teacher smile softly. But, for that very reason, you have to be smarter about how you live, how you answer. Shin, sometimes this isn't about fitting in. It's about surviving, so you can keep moving forward, so you can see what lies ahead. Ain't that true? Yeah, sometimes it's just all about surviving, not fitting in. No. Research demands the courage to challenge and explore. But until you've climbed high enough, you have to know when to keep quiet. You don't want to end up like me, treated like I don't exist. Funding pulled, papers erased, and my name struck from every conference list. Desire fuels desire. Desire is traded for desire. Desire begets desire. Countless people have tried to bait Shin with the desires she's supposed to have, to make her a pawn for their own ambitions. She was the only one who showed Shin that without fame or fortune, without praise or applause, one could have such ardently burning eyes, just by gazing upon and pursuing the possibilities the rest of the world had forgotten. I understand. I'll work hard until I can witness the end of evolution and the possibilities of life. I'll be good. She worked steadily, step by step, toward her promise and aspiration. But the eyes that had shown her the possibilities of truth were buried long ago in an obituary. Lost in a reckless and insane oceanographic expedition, never to return. Even her name was gradually replaced by the word lunatic, reaching Shin's ears from time to time. That is so freaking sad, man. Her only hope from all of this senseless desire swirling all around her. Man. And she's dead. The papers displayed on the screen are Shin's highly acclaimed academic works, yet they're filled with conservative research methods and results. How absurd. This cycle of desire called society cannot give Shin what she truly wants. Marine life is changing at an unprecedented pace. At least 5 populations under observation are exhibiting mating and hunting behaviors that don't match our expectations. It's like they're mutating, evolving, turning into entirely new life forms. Deep sea species in particular, ancient, isolated, and resistant to change, are the farthest removed from human perception and imagination. But our technology has been compromised by the perishing star. Established methods are no longer reliable, and the ocean grows more dangerous every day. Perhaps one day, we'll lose our ability to explore the ocean's forbidden zones altogether. Before that happens, we should at least try to understand the nascent biological order, rather than hiding in a bubble, fighting over a shrinking pie. After all, when that day comes, who knows if humanity will still be at the top of the food chain? True. Shin rips the drafts of her speech from the notepad and crumples it into a ball. She tosses it into a nearby trash can, where it rolls around with a hollow echo. Then again, are we now still the masters of this world, of the biosphere, the highest form of life? Wait, let's read that again. Then again, are we now still the masters of the world, of the biosphere, the highest form of life? No one knows. Shin only knows that in an academic world and willing to face radical change, her own yearning makes her feel as empty and restless as a deep-sea predator trapped in a fish tank. Just as she knows she can never, ever say these words in an acceptance speech. Shin must have felt suffocated with all this shit, man. That concludes my speech. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Miss Shin, for that wonderful speech. That brings us to the end of today's awards ceremony. Please join us in the banquet hall to congratulate our outstanding winners and catch up with friends old and new. The host has barely finished his sentence when the hall fills with the sound of scraping chairs. Shin is surrounded before she can even step down from the podium. Miss Shin, I find your new observational method somewhat unrefined. Wasn't it a bit reckless to apply them directly to your research? Miss Shin, I'm a director at a venture capital firm. Regarding the new species you've observed, perhaps we could discuss its commercial value and development roadmap. They circle her like sharks drawn to blood, hoping to profit from her work. Shin simply offers a placid smile as she handles the deluge of questions and propositions, like a sea creature adjusting its breathing as it navigates ocean currents. Please, everyone, one at a time. I'm only human after all. I can't answer your questions all at once, and we're holding up the staff here. Why don't we continue our discussion in the banquet hall? She leads the group toward the hall, like a leviathan guiding a school of fish. Perhaps in these murkier waters, she can find the prey she's truly hunting for. Miss Shin, I don't know if you remember me. We worked together on a project and an elective course at the university. Of course, I do. You had a keen eye for anomalous data. I was very impressed. I've read a few of your papers as well. Your research direction is quite novel. I wish the people who call my research unfounded speculation could hear you say that. Well, in that case, perhaps you'd be interested in funding my research on subtropical benthic organisms. I just need money. Of all the pursuits, that's got to be the most unexciting. Shin's silence seems to put him under immense pressure. He grows anxious, stammering out a defense. I didn't inflate the numbers. It's a little high, but that's because I won't be on the ship myself. I'll have to hire extra hands to make sure the crew doesn't cut corners. I have no choice. It's so dangerous these days. Nothing's more valuable than human life. So, not just greed, but fear. He's afraid of the sea, afraid to witness its inexplicable transformations. He thinks that by hiding on shore, he can ensure everything still has meaning. Yes, I understand. People, especially talented elite professionals, are our most important assets, of course. Her tone is gentle, her smile unchanged, but beneath the calm surface, pity and contempt for the coward churn like a violent undertow. Oh dear. Shin is pissed. We meet again, Miss Shin. You never cease to amaze us with your productivity. But have you considered that it might be time to pivot, to focus your work on something a bit more practical? The man wears a smile as garish as a sea anemone. His smile widens at Shin's silence, his lips parting to reveal fine, sharp teeth. What we need right now are things we can use, results we can market and monetize, drugs, materials, perhaps even mutations with anti-aging properties for skincare. The academia has made enough discoveries. What we lack are exceptional researchers who can identify the useful variations. After all, whether it's mutation or evolution, the only thing that matters is its use to humankind. Isn't that right? Useful to humankind? But humanity is so much more cowardly and stagnant than the marine life that embraces change. Do humans really have the authority, the right to hold and exploit the ocean's creatures for their own gain? But none of these misgivings or disgust shows on her face. They remain buried in the deep, dark currents of her thoughts. You have a point. My funding comes from grants and sponsors. As an established researcher, I must consider which outcomes will yield sufficient results. That is the foundation of any sustainable research program. I think these people are the reasons why Shin actually looks down on humanity and wants to evolve herself over this useless shell of humans, man. Congratulations again, Miss Shin. The department chair said that when you return to campus, he wants to throw a special celebration for you. The whole department is thrilled. Thank you. Please, thank the chair for me as well. I appreciate your kindness, but there's really no need for such a fuss. Don't say that. There aren't many people like you left who actually go out to sea to do field work. The department needs you for funding applications. You're our trump card. God damn it, every single time. It's all about the fucking money. This is what happens if your society is based on a fucking capitalism, man. Every movie you make, it's all about money. But listen, I heard there's some lunatic going around harassing renowned scholars, asking if they're interested in an expedition to the pole. If he comes to you, don't take him seriously. The pole is just too dangerous, so what if there are discoveries to be made? You can do research in any number of safer, more familiar waters. With your talent, you can get funding anywhere. Is all research the same? Do the grandiose promises fabricated for grand proposals in human society hold the same value as the truths and insights derived from studying the real order of life? That's true. There are plenty of interesting ecosystems to explore in the coastal waters. Thank you for your advice. I'll give it some more thought. I love how we are actually inside Shin's mind right now. Your grandfather heard you won the award. He calls to say he's donating money to build you a research lab at the university. Our side of the family is finally getting recognized by the main house. Shin, you've really made us proud. Now is the perfect time. Stop running all over the world. You have a reputation now. You don't need to do that hard, dirty work out at sea yourself. Stay here and focus on running the lab. We can help open doors for you, introduce you to the right people. Don't worry. Even if you never go to sea again, everyone will still see your worth. Worth, prestige, connection, honor. Human society cowers in its shell, timid and confined. It pales in comparison to the creatures of the ocean, who so readily embrace change and new life. Do the values that humans champion hold any meaning at all? I understand the family's wishes, and I'm grateful. Once I wrap up my current project, I'll consider coming back to focus on working for the family. The crescendo of chatter and clinking glasses begins to subside. Shin finally gets a moment to breathe. Another fruitless evening. Another hollow, uninteresting day. The carrion feeders, as empty-handed as she is, are growing restless. Oops. A few close in around her again, desperate for a final gamble. Miss Shin, I've sent you several emails but never received a reply. This is a rare opportunity. and I wanted to speak with you in person. Miss Shin, we're a newly established academic journal, and we're wondering if you might. Who is this? Finally, a person with a face in Shin's Mirage. Miss Shin, I don't know if Captain Maud has mentioned me. My name is Joseph, and I've partnered with him a few times. Been going to sea for research for over a decade now. I heard you're interested in the pole. Among the swarm of vultures, this middle-aged man is unremarkable in his wrinkled suit, almost shabby. But his opening words make Shin drop her practice smile. For the first time, she truly looks at him. Into those eyes, dark and murky, yet flickering with a faint phosphorescence, like an old scarred shark from the abyss, wary but stubborn, a mad yet interesting light. I'm sorry, did I hear you correctly? Are you talking about the pole? Yes, the abyss between heaven and sea. The forbidden zone of the distant ocean. The unknown territories shrouded in mist. To be frank, ever since the heyday of polar expeditions, I've always wanted to go there. To the place only the best teams could reach. The pinnacle of human science. Unfortunately, I'm no genius. Couldn't get a spot on a crew. By the time I'd beefed up my credentials, the perishing star struck. The seas grew more treacherous. People got scared. They pulled back. They forgot. I waited all this time, only to end up with nothing. But I know that many scholars like you dream of seeing that place. There might be biological laws out there that transcend human understanding. Miracles of life beyond our shallow imagination. His voice is steady, but his eyes quiver, as if he can barely contain his absurd longing. Someone sneers, calling him a lunatic. But Joseph doesn't flinch. His gaze is trained on Shin. He isn't betting on the opinions of others, but the singular will of the young academic leader before him. She shows no weakness, so he must take a risky gambit to try and move her. So, you're saying you're willing to put together an expedition to the pole, a place no one dares to go? Just because you want to? Because you think there might be something there? That's right. You can call me crazy, but Miss Shin, you're a brilliant scientist with ambitions. You know better than anyone that the place no longer dares... But you know better than anyone that the place no one dares to go are the ones most worth exploring. He might be a mediocre scholar, but he's certainly an exceptional salesman. At least he knows exactly what role to play, what he's selling, and who he's selling it to. But why me? Simply because I once told Captain Maud that I wanted to go to the pole? To do research there? That could have just been the teenage fantasy of a girl who didn't know any better. I came to you because I need you. I want to go to a place everyone's afraid of. Most institutions are hesitant about polar expeditions. If you join, securing funding and assembling a team would be much easier. The only question left is whether you need this team. I'll handle all the tedious logistics, the funding, the crew. All you need to think about, Miss Shin, is this. As a researcher, Do you still want to go to the pole? To study the life there? To decipher its mysteries? This is a transaction. And in a transaction, you only need to consider what you stand to gain. With that, Joseph lays his cards on the table. His true purpose is clear. He'll use the allure of a polar expedition to reel Shin in, to use her name to raise a team and funds, and gamble it all in a shot at fame and fortune. But Shin doesn't care about his schemes. So what if it's madness? This is what she wants, what she's been waiting for all this time. On the path to truth, if one isn't mad, how can one ever hope to glimpse things that were never meant for human eyes? Damn! She's willing to be mad, unhinged, just for the sake of science. An interesting proposal. I enjoy doing business with lunatics. She's crazy. It interests her. That's why she said yes immediately. Even though she knows she's gonna piss off her parents and her family. But she doesn't care. I look forward to this polar expedition you're organizing. I hope we can both push our limits, get what we desire, and see what you described. A miracle of life that transcends humanity's shallow imagination. Damn. Unhinged. Unhinged number 1. Unhinged phase 1. What now? Newborn whispers are hidden within the black tide. She follows the sounds, peering into the abyssal depths, seeking only to witness the world's hidden truths. That's what we read earlier. And now we are on the ship. 8 months later. This is the ship we saw in Eternal Nightmare, right? The sky is gloomy, hardly what you'd call good weather, though mercifully, the storms are as absent as the sun. The massive modern research vessel cuts through the silent waters, an unwelcome guest being scrutinized from afar. Ever since entering the polar waters, Shin and the crew haven't seen the sun once. Everyone remains on edge, constantly watching for anomalous weather. When the sun goes down, it's black. When the sun comes up, it's gray. Before we left, I never imagined the pole would be like this. I mean, it's great that we're safe and all, but I'm so antsy now that there's nothing going on. Isn't this place supposed to be terrifying? Girl, are you sure you want to question that? It's not terrifying, but it's great. There's no danger here. Your lives are intact. All that talk about the abyss, the forbidden zone, it's not going to be like this the whole time, is it? Please no. If I don't have anything to show for this trip, well, so much for my bonus. The sprightly young supply manager leans against the railing, tilting her head back to gaze the sky, her body nearly folded in half. Shin, who is jotting notes on a clipboard, smiles warily and places a hand on Emily's back to pull her up. Emily! It's the woman. It's the same. I think Emily is the same woman, the researcher, the one we saw in Eternal Nightmare, if I remember correctly. Your actions and your thoughts are getting dangerous, Emily. Whatever you may think, the current situation works in our favor. At least we have plenty of time to adapt and work our strategies. I guess you're right. Even the coward down in the boiler room has gotten used to it. At least he stopped screaming about turning back every single day. Saved himself a beating too. I was this close to knocking some sense into that little swerve for getting in the way of my payday. Don't say that. We all came from different ships, and none of us has ever been to the pole before. It's natural to be afraid. But I've always believed that every one of our shipmates can overcome their own fears and doubts. Hearing this, Emily stumps her foot in frustration and grabs Shin by her thin shoulders. What are you talking about, Miss Shin? That guy didn't overcome a thing. Have you forgotten what a spineless jellyfish he was at the start? Even a starfish has more backbone than him. You're the only reason he thinks he can handle this job, aside from our dumb luck. If you hadn't gone around talking to everyone and keeping this crew of misfits from falling apart, this ship would have fallen apart halfway here. That old geezer Joseph's got nothing on his mind but his leader title, power, money, and his name on some paper. He doesn't give a damn what's going through anyone else's head. Emily. Shin's voice rises, just a fraction, gently cutting off Emily's tirade. I know you think very highly of me, sometimes more than is warranted. And I know your family is struggling financially, that you and Joseph had disputes over the pay. But on this vessel, we're a team. We have to work together. Letting your personal feelings run wild isn't good for you or for the ship. Emily pouts, muttering something under her breath. But she hears the care and concern in Shin's words. In the end, she nods, a blush creeping up her cheeks. I know, Miss Shin, but still, I think most of the credit goes to you. There aren't many people on this ship who genuinely care about the expedition. After all, not everyone is as noble as you, willing to risk personal safety for science. And not everyone is like that old codger Joseph. And me, so obsessed with fame and money, we've lost our minds. Shin is amused by Emily's words. Ah, wait, maybe Emily is different from the one in the Eternal Nightmare. Yeah, maybe. So don't mind me. This is a different person. Shin is amused by Emily's words. She covers her mouth with her hand, stifling a small laugh, then reaches out to smooth Emily's bangs, which have been tousled by the wind. But that's only human, Emily. If anything, I'm the selfish one who dragged all of you onto this ship just to satisfy my own desires. What are you saying, Miss Shin? Stop being so modest. If you were really as selfish as you say, you wouldn't have been able to convince everyone to come with you to find that. What did you call it? Emily stammers, pointing toward the hulking shadow of a distant glacier. Its blurry contour, mirrored between the sea and the sky, resembles a giant, drooping eye glancing listlessly into the distance. A miracle of life that transcends humanity's shallow imagination. Right, right. Whether they believe it before or not, everyone's committed now. After all, if your dream comes true, all of us will get what we want. As Emily chatters on, fantasizing about the future, Shin's gaze remains fixed on the glacier on the horizon. Her eyes gleam faintly, as if an invisible rift lurks there, leading to her secret craving. A dream. What a lovely word. But this is just my desire, and mine alone. Whatever lies ahead, I only wish I can achieve what my heart desires. What the fuck? Left or right? Uh, a heavy, muffled sound came from the port side, shattering the deathly silence. On deck, the crew freezes mid-motion, as if holding the single moment in stasis could ward off whatever comes next. Did something grab a hold of the vessel? Oh my god. What was that? Don't move. I'll check. Damn it. It's an ice floe. I swear I scanned this direction, and there was nothing there. The radar didn't pick up anything either. A fine grating crackle follows, scraping at their nerves and breeding fear. Just as the tension threatens to spread, a calm voice cuts through the invisible strain. The waters below are far more complex than on the surface. Situations beyond our ability to predict are inevitable. There's no need to panic. Miss Shin, what are you doing here? Where's the leader? He's with the first mate, discussing our next move. I came to assess the situation. I thought my past experience at sea might offer her a new perspective. Am I in the way? Shin's composed voice calms the two men. Their eyes are now tinged with an unspoken plea for help. Not at all. Having you here is a real relief, Miss Shin. Things were so quiet before. How did this happen? Perhaps the pole is never quiet. We just forgot it had a temper. As if echoing her words, massive ice chunks scrape against the hull. The ship lurches as a jarring shriek like a monster's wail pierces their eardrums. What the fuck? They might turn into a fucking Titanic at this rate. Perhaps something beyond human perception is brewing. What we're facing now could be just a prelude. The oceanographer steps to the railing and peers down into the inky waters. The others can't see the twist of a smile on her lips. They simply huddle behind her, drinking in comfort her steady tone provides. Damn, girl. She's willing to drag all these innocent people with her as long as it satisfy her desire. Definitely unhinged. We can rely solely on our instruments. We can't rely solely on our instruments anymore. I'll suggest to the leader that we initiate manual evasion protocols. I also need you to pay closer attention to any external changes while on deck. Yes, ma'am. Fragile tiles? Oh no, what the fuck? There's something there. Oh dear lord. Rain hammers the deck, pounding on their eardrums like a sluggish, inescapable percussion from beneath the waves. Curse this weather! We can't even see the horizon! But to correct our course, we need at least one reference point. The GPS is drifting, and now the gyroscope is acting up. Is it magnetic interference? The leader is still trying to send someone to the crow's nest, but given how things look right now, he said if it gets worse, we drop anchor and stabilize the ship. Should we do it? The water is too deep. The anchor line won't hold. Not to mention all the ice flows. Silence falls, punctuated only by the expedition leader's distant yelling. A heavy darkness engulfs everything, dissolving the boundaries of sight and sound. Only Shin's contemplative presence offers the crew a glimmer of solace and hope. It could be a polar magnetic fluctuation or a gyre. Either way, we can't just sit around. Navigator, let's measure the ocean currents and wind patterns. Maybe we can use the thrusters to correct our course. The younger crew members can't help but steal glances at Shin. The expedition's scholar is more composed and resolute than the sailors, like a steady anchor on shifting ice. An old captain once told me that when you're lost at sea, you should find your direction before worrying about your destination. Even the smallest bit of certainty can give us strength. I see, Miss Shin. I'll help you. Oh no. Ah, we're trapped! I think I went on the wrong way. Oh no. Shin's judgment guides the vessel through the crisis, but their respite proves to be short lived. Soon, someone notices the icebergs on both sides closing in slowly to form a constricted passage, like the ocean narrowing its eyes. Uh oh. Radar shows the narrowest point between the icebergs is less than 200 meters, and they're still closing in. Quick, recalibrate distance. Helm to port. 15 degrees. No, too late. We're too fast enough. Engine room more thrust. Not working? Why isn't it working? Damn it. Damn it. Damn it all. First mate barks out orders, trying every possible escape maneuver, but with each command the ship only shudders more violently, while red warnings light flash hysterically on the screens. Oh dear lord, we're going down! The grinding of the ice sounds like countless tiny teeth gnawing at his heart. The first mate bites his lip, forcing himself to think. But his mind is blank, save for a single word. Run! He abruptly shoves the man behind him and stumbles toward the door. I'm getting out of here. I have to get out of here. I'm not gonna get eaten by this ice. Please calm down, sir. There is still hope. Let's hold on a little longer. A warm, steady hand closes around his wrist. Shin stands in the doorway, gazing up into his bloodshot eyes. Her piercing voice soothes his frayed nerves. Sometimes, a sense of duty can blind us to the riskier options. You've done well, but now we have no choice. We can only take the most dangerous path. Shin leads the first mate to the viewport and points toward a barely perceptible crack in the ice ahead. She meets his incredulous stare with a look of calm, gentle resolve. 20 degrees off the bow, full power ahead. Take us through. It's our only chance to survive. Under Shin's gaze, the first mate freezes for 2 seconds, as if spellbound, before struggling to regain his composure. He murmurs, repeating her words. Full power, ahead! Engines roar at full throttle, pushed to the limit as the ship charges against the bellowing wall of ice. Iceberg screams on both sides. The whole world seems to be contracting, tearing itself apart. Then, just as the hull is about to rip to shreds, the bow plunges forcefully into the crevice. We made it! You were right, Miss Shin! That really was the way out! Oh god, we are trapped. Ew, no. How do we... How do we... Oh no. Oh no. How do we restart? Restart. We're done with this, right? Okay, we're done with that. Walk over fragile tiles. How do we go about with this? Like that, like that. Okay. We already read this. Yep, yep, yep. What? What was that? I've never seen a waveform like this. It's definitely not terrain, but it doesn't look like a living thing either. A subtly distorted waveform glides across the screen. It has no fixed shape nor clear outline. It looks like something between liquid and gas states, writhing slowly as it soundlessly slithers closer. Oh my god! What was that? This thing seems like it's conscious. Is it is it prowling around us? Days of accumulated panic and terror reached their breaking point, erupting like shattered foam throughout the control room. But Shin is completely unfazed. She even takes an involuntary step forward, gazing into into the entity beyond the porthole. She can feel it. A being far beyond the bounds of human comprehension. It has no face, no form, only a darkness of constantly shifting density and will, drawn closer by the turbulent emotions of the crew. Oh! Is that actually mania? Because they say it has no form and it gets drawn by emotions, mania, and the abyss. Oh my god. Machine, don't get any closer. It'll eat you. Machine? No, we're done for. Don't tell me she's also. As a human, she should flee from this terrifying entity. But she can't control herself. She's certain this is the creature and consciousness born in the polar depths that transcends all human understanding. She needs to get closer, to see it better, to study it more carefully. But then she surveys the ragged breathing and ashen faces of the crew. They are on the verge of collapse, and she needs them for further test, for more observations. The timing isn't right, and they are still useful. God damn it! God damn it! She's insane! I think most scientists, well, I guess, they're quite unhinged and insane. Because it feels like at all costs, as long as they get data from their research, they're willing to sacrifice anyone. Everyone, stay calm. It doesn't appear to be hostile. Let's turn off the active sonar, kill the lights, and run on silent. If we wait quietly, it will lose interest in us. Over this time, Shin has become their anchor. Her composure restores order to the room. Soon, an indescribable warmth spreads through the cabin. I think it's gone. This confirms Shin's hypothesis, and she can't suppress the smile tugging at her lips. Fortunately, the crew are all clutching their chests in relief, and no one notices her twisted grin. If the creature craves chaos and dread, if it abhors order and hope, if it follows the scent of despair, well, then she has all the bait she would need. God damn it, girl! This is greed, this is desire at its most purest form. And Shin is scary because she has this soothing, motherly aura about her. But deep inside, she doesn't care if she murders people for her own needs. We'll meet again. I'll make sure of it. Damn. Mom, I'm scared. But mom, our mom is... Mom, I'm scared, but our mom is scarier. What? The target is in the block state. Oh, I think we need to hop on every pathway. I think. Mm. Wait, let me think. Let me see how we can do this. We actually do this like that, like that, like that, like that. Yeah. Ah, so this is the way. This is the real order of things. I'm sorry, guys. One month later. Are the crew still sane or have they become insane with all this stress? It's a rare day of calm seas, but the expedition has had too many close calls to treat this tranquility lightly, like they did on the first few days. Now, they're acutely aware why the pole was called the Forbidden Zone. How did it go, Miss Shin? Any new plans? The moment Shin emerges from the makeshift conference room, Emily hurries over with urgent questions. Shin offers her a placating smile. We couldn't reach a consensus. For now, we'll stick with the original plan. It's alright. Spotting one of the native species was a stroke of luck to begin with. In fieldwork, there are no guarantees. We can only try to improve our odds. I'm used to this kind of uncertainty. I see. Sorry, I'm just impatient by nature. Don't mind me, Miss Shin. I'm not trying to push you. It's just... Emily trails off, but her agitation is plain to see. Shin glances around. Several crew members are craning their necks to watch their conversation. Emily is simply the closest to her and the most impatient. She is the first to voice the question on everyone's mind. Girl, be careful. She doesn't know that this lady is unhinged. She might push you off the railings accidentally and offer you to the abyss. Lately, anxiety has taken root in every member of the team. Their longing seeps out through their words, spreading like unseen fissures beneath the ice. And the one least capable of containing his emotion is... Is this crap supposed to be your sighting report? Did you really see the polar creature? Or did you just make the whole thing up? Why didn't you get a closer look? If you want your paycheck and credentials, you'd better show some goddamn guts and deliver. I swear I saw it. I mean, on the sonar, but the thing was dangerous. That's why Mission told us to back off. So, back off to let it leave on its own. Mission this, mission that. I'm your leader. When you spotted that thing, you should have notified me, for God's sake. She's just a scientific advisor. Why are you running to her with every little thing? Because you, dude, you don't sound soothing. You're not a beacon of lights, unlike Miss Shin. Joseph is infuriated when the crew members invokes Shin's authority. He sputters in exasperation, paying lip service to respecting Shin, but really taking indirect jabs at her influence. After all, this expedition is his last shot, and he's clinging desperately to this opportunity. Everyone's getting a bit worked up. The old geezer's really losing it, jumping on any chance to bring up old grievances. Is he talking about others or himself? He's not even trying to hide it anymore. It is my fault. I didn't realize Mr. Joseph had grown so unhappy with me. The delays in our progress must be getting to my head too, or I wouldn't have been so oblivious to the team dynamics. How could this possibly be your fault, Miss Shin? Don't you take anything he said to heart? That man's just too desperate for fame. He's a paranoid wreck. He probably thinks you're trying to undermine his authority. The young oceanographer feigns dejection, and sure enough, Emily rushes to comfort her. But Shin isn't nearly so fragile. In fact, these conflicts are the results of the negative emotions she deliberately stoked over the past few weeks. Deliberately stoked. Anything she could offer to the abyss, I guess. But she hadn't expected her subtle manipulations to yield such immediate results. But this most remote place on earth, the abyss between heaven and sea, truly have such a profound influence on human emotions, especially negative ones. Uh oh. Oh no, is the abyss talking to her? Oh god. Of course. Of course. You have arrived at the inner surface of the weathered shell. Here, there are no shores of order, no nets of morality. Only a soft substrate, a breeding ground where new life is born. Who's there? Is that you? A voice from nowhere writes and slithers against her eardrums like the slimy fins of the shadow that met her gaze that night, caressing every fold of her brain. Damn, that's hot. Fuck my imaginations. Calm down, cheater. I am that which you seek to name, the void you chase, the unhatched egg in your consciousness. I know what you want, what you crave. The flower of evolution blooms only through mutual revulsion and self-dissection. It is the seed of despair, the spore split from flesh and spirit. Evolution toward a miracle of life that transcends humanity's shallow imagination. The sinful whispers gives voices to her deepest, most unspeakable desires. She feels her mind swaddled in something soft and slippery, like a mother's hands. It guides her towards the end she has sought for so long. She raises her head. Undermined his authority? I thought all I'd earned was everyone's trust. This is a terrible misunderstanding. Perhaps the crew doesn't fully appreciate all the efforts Mr. Joseph made when we were in peril. Perhaps I should explain it to them? Then these misunderstandings would stop. She feels her throat and tongue move, guided by the murmur, disgorging words that sound conciliatory but are lined with venomous tendrils. Across the deck, Joseph freezes unnaturally. Then, unable to rein in his rage, he slams his folder onto the ground. Dang! Is this the reason why her power, Shin's power is charging up mania in immortal sinners, right? And she increases their attack. And I'm like, whoa. So her power is basically somehow it's similar to manipulating emotions. I'm scared. You don't know when she's going to be sincere toward you when you talk to her. Oh my god. Oh, she can control her emotions and she can control other emotions also. Well, I guess for people like Shin, the only thing that would be constant would be their desire. For her, that knowledge that she is looking for. As we get to know Shin more and more, I'm getting more scared. She could be, I guess, yeah, she could sound, I think I could consider her as a yandere at this point. that obsession is really something, man. What the hell's wrong with him? He splashed water on us. See, Miss Shin? That old geezer doesn't deserve your kindness. Let him rot. Emily's mouth twists with disgust and revulsion. Joseph's face deforms with uncontrolled resentment. Their complexions are distorted with a rising tension, like the inner wall of an overfed starfish about to burst. The scene lands like a single drop of seawater in the hollow of Shin's heart. A warm, briny ooze spreads through her, seeping into her parched gut. She licks her lips. A slick moistness slides across them, tasting of sweet pelagic bliss. Oh my god! Is she enjoying all of these negative emotions? It feels like the Abyss have successfully connected to her. Oh my good lord. Finally, there's an answer. What was that? What answer? What? Was that supposed to be an answer from the Abyss? 5 days later. The risk will increase exponentially if we go deeper. I advise against it. That's the 5th time I've heard that, Miss Shin. Don't you have anything more constructive to offer? This is my assessment based on known ocean currents, temperature, and topographical changes. I believe it is the correct one, Mr. Joseph. Being correct doesn't mean a damn thing, Miss Shin. Everyone on the ship knows it's dangerous, but we have no other choice. The man slams the hastily compiled polar nautical chart, now useless, on the table. The impact scatters a stack of observation logs, their pages as pale as the crew's faces. You're the one who let it go. You're the one who said we should give it chase. And now that we've made it here, you're the one who wants to quit. Enough with your correct bullshit. Is your expertise good for anything besides telling us to run away? Shin is successfully stoking the flame some more. Oh dear lord. Shin stands across the table, meeting his bloodshot gaze. In just a few days, his features have been twisted by his swelling emotions. His eyeballs bulge and twitch like egg sacs resonating with insanity, pulsating wetly like a sluggish heart. What the fuck is that? The wording make it look so gross, as if this dude have gone insane. To the crew hoping Shin could overturn Joseph's decision, it looks like a silent standoff. But Shin knows very well that every word she speaks is a trendle prodding his nerves, goading his madness. Yes, just like that. More paranoid, more agitated, more delicious. I regret my expertise hasn't produced the conclusion you desired. I understand your frustration, Mr. Joseph, but it's not uncommon for an expedition to be fruitless. With the experience we've gained, perhaps next time. Next time? You're the only one here who can say that so lightly. You'll have many more chances if you miss this one, but I won't. And neither will the others. You might as well drop the act and admit you don't want to see others achieve better results than you do. Gasp rippled throughout the room, mingling with Joseph's ragged breathing, like the forewarning before a monster hatches from its shell. Shin bows her head. Shadow veils her face, concealing her euphoric smile. I'm scared. He thinks he's closing in on her, but he's mistaken. She holds the strings to his fracturing will. On the ship, humans are merely vessels, carriers of the unnamed presence inside her, swelling, surging, then overflows. That wasn't my intention, Mr. Joseph. As I've explained many times, I've chose to avoid contact during the first encounter, considering the crew's condition at the time. Considering the crew's condition? What gives you the right? I am the leader of this expedition. I am the one responsible for the crew and our findings. And I say we push on until we hunt down that thing. Do you have any objections, Miss Shin? Oh, oh my god. I think the crew is about to overthrow the leader. Not the captain, the leader. I object. Joseph's roar fails to land with the finality he expects. It's cut short by a voice teetering on the verge of collapse. Everyone stares in shock at the dissenter, and the cabin falls into a stunned silence. Oh no. We're already at our limit. Going any deeper is suicide. You've never taken the night watch. You have no idea how terrifying that thing is. If we run into another iceberg and that thing, none of us can make it out of here alive. You're gambling with our lives. You. Even Joseph didn't expect this meek crewman to defy him so boldly. And for a moment, he's stunned. But as his gaze sweeps over the other crew, who remain silent, he suddenly realizes that their silence is an answer in itself. Shut your mouth, coward. This is an order, the leader's decision. Anyone who has a problem can get off the ship right now. You first. Throw him overboard. No. Oh dear. Shin stoked the flame and you got baited by it. This weak-willed humans. His growl hangs in the air. No one moves. The suffocating tension ferments in the cabin like a thick gel. Everyone holds their breath, waiting for the tipping point of this precarious balance or the flashpoint. I think they are going to throw Joseph overboard instead. Everyone, calm down. In a place this dangerous, we are a team, working together, working toward a common goal. We should be each other's protectors, not threats. What a team needs most is a clear chain of command. It needs everyone in the right place, whether it's myself or anyone else. We can only offer the team leader our counsel, not objections. Mr. Joseph, you are the decision maker of this voyage. Shin takes a step forward, placing herself between the crew and Joseph. Her clear, steady voice cuts through the chaos. It seems like a concession. But in truth, she never intended to oppose him. She has waited for this moment for too long. Girl, what are you about to unleash? From now on, I promise that I and the rest of the crew will respect your decisions and fully assist you in achieving your research objectives. In return, let's put behind us everything that happened before, shall we? The journey ahead is full of unknown dangers. Every hand is precious. You know that as well as I do, Mr. Joseph. You wouldn't weaken our team over personal feelings, would you? Of course not. Joseph glares at Shin through gritted teeth, breathing heavily. But he doesn't lash out. Clearly, he too understands that Shin is one step ahead. He no longer controls the fate of this voyage. He has lost that power. You have lost the 5D chess mental gymnastics with Shin. A brief silence ensues. The crew process the compromise. Some lower their heads, others clench their fists with gritted teeth. Finally, they slowly begin moving to adjust the ship's course. Miss Shin, if we go deeper, will we make it back alive? My family's waiting for me to send money home. She trails off, her voice skittish. When she looks up, she sees Shin's gaze on her. There is no reproach in those serene eyes, calm as the ocean, but Emily panics all the same. Oh, look at me. It's not that I don't trust you, Miss Shin. I know you'll bring us home safe. I'll help you. Anything you need. You just ask me. Easy, Emily. I understand. But we've come this far. If disaster awaits ahead, we can only face it head on. And if it's a miracle, well, that's something we'll only discover after taking the risk. Whether it's the perilous polar waters or the consequences of the crew's mounting tension, she anticipates it all with fierce eagerness, relishing the intoxicating blend of despair and danger. Outside the porthole, the gray sea stirs. A dark current rises beneath the peaks of ice, like a vast and open eye. I'm scared. I'm scared of what's about to come. Well, the ship is still intact. Everyone is still alive. But I think we're on a breaking point now. Shin is about to sink the ship down. Oh my dear lord, I'm scared. I'm scared. Why is it red? Oh shit! What was that? The broad blade of the fire axe lodges itself into the door, warping the metal like monstrous tentacle trying to force its way in. What the fuck? A middle-aged man panting like a cornered beast drags the axe behind him as he slowly advances on Shin. What in the actual fuck? What happened? What? Suddenly, there's a Joseph have become crazy and wielding an axe and hammering on the metal door? Oh my god! I think he's been corrupted by mania. Yeah, that's it. All according to Shin's plan. Wait, so this is what happened in the Eternal Nightmare also. Although there's some differences in I guess there are some differences because the chief was there. Keep hiding. Go ahead. Where else can you hide? What else are you hiding? Show me. Come on, let's see it, great scholar. Oh, he has gone crazy. Oh dear. Mr. Joseph, calm down. You're not thinking clearly right now. Put down the weapon and let's talk. After venturing into the polar depths, the research vessel has faced constant peril until a polar storm cut off their return route. Each failed rescue attempt only compounded their plight. Equipment continues to fizzle out, almost like the ship is slowly decomposing. What the fuck? It's getting melted. No one could say precisely when it started, but the feeling that permeates the cabins is no longer simple fear, but something deeper, a contagious madness. And the man drowning in pressure and desire is the very first to snap. Talk? What's there to talk about? You and that warehouse girl have been scheming behind my back all this time, and now you want to talk? When did the food run out? When did our fuel run dry? Huh? Were you planning to tell us after we're all dead? Oh my god. Joseph's outburst of fury has unleashed inhuman strength. His facial features are contorted, grotesquely asymmetrical, like a soft-shell crab crushed by abyssal pressure. His eyeballs roll and tremble in their sockets, almost wriggling free. Emily meant no harm. She simply made what she thought was the right call. When your mind was stretched too thin, she turned to someone better equipped to handle the situation. She trusts me. That's all. Shut up! Oh, he actually saw my hand. Volcanic rage stains the man's eyes and skin crimson. He raises the axe savagely, the handle clashing against the door frame behind him with a sharp warning screech. Trust? You think just because they went over my head to listen to you, that's trust? Why don't you go ask them? Ask how many of them blame you, the great scholar, with all your worthless knowledge. Can't even track down a new specimen. Can't even dodge a storm. You must have been enjoying yourself this last few days. You deliberately handle me the reins just to watch this, didn't you? You watch us burn through our fuel, trapped with nowhere to run, to watch us go insane. Well, keep watching. I'll show you how I drag you down with me, right down to hell. Oh my god. This dude is far too gone. And whoever you blame, dude, it's all on you. You started this. You invited a monster to be with you to the pole. Joseph turns towards Shin, his eyes rolling wildly in their sockets as if possessed by a will of their own. His erratic gaze doesn't seem to hinder him from locking onto his target. He swings the axe, and the shadow of death falls over Shin. What was that? The dull impact splits the air as Joseph crashes heavily to the ground. With two wet pops, the sudden cranial pressure expels his eyeballs from his skull. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? They splash into the pooling liquid below, trailing long, delicate nerve endings. Lark larvae finally finding their nesting ground. What the fuck? Did so? Holy shit. The description is really something. Did someone shut his head? It feels like someone shut his head and the eyes pop out of his skull. And now it's on the freaking floor. Holy shit, man. Don't you hurt Miss Shin. Don't touch her. Don't you dare touch her. She's gonna get us out of here alive. She's gonna make us rich. Nobody touches her. In the crumbling doorway, reeking with the sickly sweet stench of blood, Emily stands rigid as a statue, clutching a bloody crowbar with both hands. Holy fuck! I thought it was a gun! I thought it was a fucking gun! Emily actually used a crowbar to smash Joseph's head. Oh my god, man! Good thing this... A good thing there's no illustration, just narrative. But still, the description is so gruesome. Whew! Shit. Oh, wow, wow. This is intense. In the crumbling doorway, reeking with the sickly sweet stench of blood, Emily stands rigid as a statue, clutching a bloody crowbar with both hands. Her face is vacant, yet her arms move mechanically, pummeling what had once been a human form into shapeless pulp. Oh my god! Ah! It's like, I don't know if you guys played Half-Life, the old one. You use a crowbar there, and if you smash onto a dead human, they turn into a pool of blood instead. Oh my god. I think that's the same thing that happened. Only when a chunk of something hard is knocked loose, clattering against a metal cabinet. Thus, Emily finally snapped back to her senses. She stares, stunned, at the carnage before her, before letting out a piercing, terrified shriek. No, I didn't mean to. I just... When I came to my senses, my hands were already... Shin? Did I do something wrong? I didn't, right? I was trying to help you. Emily's face crumples with terror, her gaze desperately fixed on Shin, craving her guidance. But Shin doesn't comfort her with gentle words or stroke her hair as she used to. She simply stands there, watching the crimson spread across the floor. Her experiment succeeded. She has finally glimpsed the beginning of life's mutation and evolution. Not born from society and order, but from the rifts of blood and flesh, fear and impulse, struggling to metamorphose into higher forms, a miracle beyond imagination. Intense longing, hope, and goodness, when pushed beyond their limits by extreme emotion and circumstance, could erupt into such an astonishing transformation. Yes, just like that. Go, shape them, nurture, continue, and ultimately become us. Shin swallows, a warm, thick fluid rising from the root of her tongue. What the fuck? A throbbing from within, hungering fiercely for that unknowable promise. She slowly turns her head toward the girl in the doorway, her voice moist and low, softly coaxing a chosen larva, urging it to hatch from its shell. You did nothing wrong, Emily. You read the situation and made the call you had to make. You protected me and everyone else who might have been attacked. It was the right choice. She finally steps forward, stroking the disheveled hair at the back of the sobbing girl's neck. The touch is wet and warm, like some new form of life she had anticipated, taking shape in her palm. Oh my fucking god. Is Emily fucking transforming? This is how life adapts and evolves. Those capable of making the right choice will draw closer, and closer to a higher form of life. The blizzard is still howling outside the porthole. The frigid wind drills through the cracks in the ship's hull like a clammy breath, whispering and applauding, waiting for the next larva to hatch. I'm scared. I'm scared that Shin is um Shin is making monstrous creatures with the use of her comrade's body. Great. Oh, do we really have to go there? That place. No one's been in since that happened last time. It's so dark, like a hole that could suck you in. What are you afraid of? What can a hole do to us? It's better than freezing and starving to death. If the others weren't so scared, we wouldn't even be getting first dibs. Shoulders hunched and backs bent, they creep into the cabin like a pair of wriggling grubs. They crouch and rummage through the remnants of the conflict. The rustling sounds eerily reminiscent of mollusk feeding. Basically, I think chaos erupted in the vessel, and everyone does not trust anyone at all. So they're just trying to survive and avoid each other while they're inside the ship. I'm scared. This is really a horror. This is, what genre is this? Suspense and thriller, I guess. Could you consider it psychological? I think almost, yeah, psychological horror. Yes, it is. Hey, do you smell that? It's meat and fat. Meat and fat? Is that another human? Meat? It's really meat and still fresh, like a freshly killed mountain goat. I need to eat meat. No, 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 no. That's another human. What are you doing? There's a brief mention of this on the Eternal Nightmare, right? With Shin, where when everything have become desperate, people are starting eating other people. Oh my god, man. Oh dear lord. Not the sound. All traces of fear have vanished from his mumble, replaced by a ravenous hunger and appetite. The sounds of chewing and swallowing fill the cabin, their senses clouded by starvation. The two have completely devolved into blind, deep-sea scavengers. Miss Shin, are we really not going to stop them? Emily leans on her crowbar, asking in a worried whisper. The sweet metallic stench of raw meat doesn't bother her in the slightest. It only makes her swallow, mouth watering from hunger. Oh god, oh god. Wait, Kek, wait. Is the meat being devoured right now the one Emily hammered down with her crowbar? Joseph. Oh wow, dear lord. The new leader of the ship lowers her gaze, her expression one of pity and compassion, seemingly oblivious to the change in her companion. Her shadow falls across the center of the passage, like the long narrow pupil in a giant eye. Of course we can stop them, Emily, but this is the choice they've made out of hunger. A choice for survival. You know our supply situation better than anyone. What could we possibly offer them to appease that craving? Perhaps you must watch this change. Feel this change. This is and that awaits us all. I'm scared. What is that? I think we're not allowed to go there. Shin and Emily arrive at the boiler room. It's the only area on the ship that still holds some heat. But with a limited space, the crew can only take turns warming themselves here. Wait, Miss Shin? Don't go in! Something sounds wrong! Uh-oh. Emily nervously pulls Shin behind her. Ever since that incident, she's remained inseparable from Shin. Hyper-vigilant. Her senses sharpened until she can perceive things a normal human cannot. Shin has allowed this transformation. I think what's happening basically right now is mania corruption. But at that time, back then they probably don't know anything about it. It's similar to we could say similar to what happened to perhaps Zoya, or maybe not as successful as Zoya. No. But yeah, I think basically this is mania corruption, and yes, they are transforming because of it, gaining inhuman powers because of it. You, get your feet back. All of you, stay away. Anyone steps on the heat pipe again, don't blame me for cracking your skull with this beauty. Huh? Don't like it? Then get out. If you don't mind turning into a popsicle. So that guy who froze to death on the second deck yesterday, that was your doing, wasn't it? What if it was? He was an idiot. He used to throw his weight around because he was big. Still thought those fat pig hooves of his were a match for the once timid boiler room worker speaks like a smug booming voice that distorts the hot air. Halfway through, he finally realizes who's asking the question. Miss Shin? Emily? What are you? Scared? Taking that guy out was your choice, wasn't it? Bragging about it to me and Miss Shin was your choice too, wasn't it? So why are you scared now? Seems you know that a bad choice only leads to one place. A dead end. Shin quietly observes Emily, intimidating the crewman. The girl turns toward Shin with an air of triumph, seeking praise for her big victory. But her right eye swivels a few 180 degrees, as if peering through the back of her skull. What the fuck? This is fucking creepy. Trained on the murderous glint in the crewman's eyes as he feigns submission. The next molting has begun. Soon. Very soon. For a brief moment, Shin's lips curl with an entranced smile. But she quickly composed herself, clapping her hands to draw everyone's attention before stepping in with a pointed diplomacy. Alright, everyone has their own way of thinking. I can't bind you all with rules, but before you make a choice, I hope you'll consider the consequences. Choices inevitably comes with a price. Is the choice you're making really the right one for your survival? That's right. Choices. We all know which choice leads to a better life. What did I scared? Everyone is transforming. And maybe Shin is far too gone, but for me, I think everything is just becoming more and more grotesque. I can't imagine how they look now. The movement of the eyes are... It feels like they're possessed by the devil, by demons. But in this case, they're possessed by the abyss. The source of heat remains, but the man who claimed it as his property is dead. What? I I I thought we left him alone. He's dead. Really? His weapon has changed hands, and his neck is twisted in the wrong direction. Pale bone spike jutting through the skin like a shattered egg capsule. What the fuck? I'm imagining it as someone twisted the head, and because of the too much force, there's a bone jutting on the neck now. Holy shit. What happened here? Nobody knows. Nobody saw. I guess maybe the wind picked up while he was getting water and he slipped. Just bad luck. It's Emily! Well, Miss Shin, there's no need to look into this, is there? He ended up this way because of his own choice. And it's a good thing. We have one less mouth to feed. With our supply so low, this is the best news we could have gotten. Emily changes the subject cheerfully. Her eyelids twitch with delight, bloodshot eyeballs swiveling uncontrollably now and then, as if the thrill of the hunt has yet to fade. But we can't leave the body here. It'll spoil in the heat. We have to move it outside. You lot, get moving. I'll stay here with Miss Shin and discuss how we should adjust the rations. Her words are like chunks of meat thrown to a school of piranhas. The crew swarms forward eagerly, tearing warm sinews apart as they hold the body away, steam rising in the sweltering air. What's in the water? There must be. There's something in the water. In the current patch of path to nowhere, man. There's so much cannibalism. This is so fucking unsettling. Emily? The girl stares directly at Shin as if awaiting her judgment. The tiny capillaries beneath her eyeballs pulse erratically, like stretched threads, threatening to snap from their sockets at any moment. You are remarkable, my child. People like you, people who hold on to hope, can always make the best choices by instinct. Emily beams with joy, her body relaxing like a mollusk. A thin, clear fluid sips from the corner of her eyes. An impatient life force struggling to break free. Oh my god! I'm imagining something is inside of her growing, and then when the time is right, it's going to fucking burst. Yeah. And it will rip her to shreds. Oh my fucking god. I'm doing this to myself. Sin. The sweet scent of a predator's feast. Oh, I'm scared. I told you, we should have dealt with him ages ago. 8 more than he worked. That blubber was enough to piss anyone off. Huh. Well, while the meat's still fresh, might as well put it to good use. Stop laughing and grab your wrench. Let's get this straight. We take the best parts and split them 50-50. And keep it quiet. If anyone else find out, our share gets smaller. The sound of footsteps recedes out. The sound of footsteps recedes around a corner of a long, intestine-like corridor. Emily slips out from the shadows. Once she's certain they're gone, she hurries down the nearest stairs to rejoin Shin, who is busy with her calculations. The storm has shown signs of abating, but situation on the ship hasn't improved in the slightest. The survivors have all accepted the new laws of survival. The price of their choice is that competition has become habit and survival a trial. Emily is no different. She chose to become stronger. Her movements grew lighter, her body more agile, her judgment more decisive, like she's turned into some new creature. Two more are plotting something. But that's not bad news, is it, Miss Shin? Whichever one of them survives will have more supplies. It could buy us another 2 days, maybe 3. Yes. Shin no longer bothers to hide her smile, because the same smile is plastered brazenly on Emily's face. A corrosive desire, like saliva and stomach acid, enshrouds and fills the ship, making such smiles perfectly natural. Others are prey. Others are nourishment. Others are your stepping stones to ascension. Is anyone still alive? I think everyone got how do you pronounce cannibalized by other people. The boiler has long been turned down to a bare minimum, but a crackling fire still fills the room with pleasant warmth. Emily props her chin on her hand, poking at a questionable cut of red meat skewered over the flames. She glances at Shin, seated beside her. So, I guess we made it through, Miss Shin. We weren't hit by any big waves yesterday. That's the first time since the storm started. Yes, I just checked the fish finder and got a reading right away. If the native marine life is getting active again, the chances of another major disaster are pretty slim. Pretty slim for now. Oh God, the sound. At the good news, some of Emily's old carefree self returns. She tears at the sinew of her piece of meat with practiced ease. The soft ripping sound resembles the gentle chewing of rustling mandibles. We have enough meat for another week, and water too. We just need to hold out a little longer. Rescue will come for us, right, Miss Shin? Of course. We've overcome all these hardships and made it this far. Next, we just need to come up with a story to explain how we managed to pull through. Shin stares unblinkingly at Emily. Her pupils as dark as the abyss they haven't dared look upon for a long while. Beneath the gentle, steady surface of her gaze lurks a rapturous, loving craze. You must have heard those stories from old sailors, Emily. When a ship is trapped in a storm, only one person makes it back alive to tell the tale. Stories like that. I've heard them. Never thought I'd be the one telling it, though. Good thing we're not like those stories. There are 2 of us, and we can help each other. We can even write a report about the creature that ate everyone. Girl, I think you're the creature who ate everyone. Oh my God. Ate everyone? Yes. We can even speculate how it evolved to that point. So intelligent, so massive, such unique behavioral patterns, right? It explains everything. Come to think of it, it's almost like a godsend. Otherwise, it would be hard to explain all this. Just the two of us surviving. It's kind of Emily. You are being experimented on by Shin. My poor girl. Emily shrugs with a smile, her gaze sweeping over the tattered bits of clothing scattered around the boiler around the boiler room. She doesn't notice that her eyes are bulging unnaturally, neural synapses firing as they collect and process visual signals in ways no human could. You're a smart girl, Emily. You're right about everything, with one tiny exception. So, she immediately spots Shin's hand, drawn from behind her back, and the gleaming blade she grips. The dagger Shin has kept strapped to her body since the day she boarded the ship. Girl. Also, the negative effect on this is unnerving. What's up? What's going to happen again? Didn't I just tell you? A storm traps a ship. The monster eats everyone. And in the end, the fire illuminates Shin's silhouette, ever so sharp and slender, as she raises the blade. Framed by the boiler stained with dark crimson shreds, she looks like the vertical bloodshot pupil of some colossal beast about to pounce. Only one gets to go home and tell the tale. Oh God. A soft sound fills the room, like ripping the seams of a cotton doll. Oh my God! She fucking murdered Emily! That conniving bitch! But I love her. Crazy. Crazy bitch. But... crazy bitch, but what? Why do I like her? There's something wrong with me. Basically, she manipulated everyone and tried to kill off each other. It's like a battle royale. And then at the end, when there's only two of them, she stabs Emily in the back and kill her off. Great. Uh, Emily's eyes are wide with disbelief. She opens her mouth to speak, but the moment her lips part, bright foam spills from her mouth, mixed with twitching fragments that flow onto the floor nonstop. What the fuck? What the fuck? You are the smartest child I've met on the ship, the most caring companion, and my most successful specimen. So successful that I couldn't help but wonder, for someone who can still hold onto hope in circumstances like this, what kind of despair can you release? Can you make the best choice for an organism? Her tone has never been so lighthearted, her emotions never so bare. Under Emily's nearly frozen gaze, Shin drops to one knee before her, heedless of the filth, and reaches out a hand. Oh God! With a wet pop, a floodgate is thrown open. Scalding steam rushes forth, swirling around Shin's dampened skirt and irradiating her flushed, excited cheeks. Oh, why? Why are you doing this to me? The color drains from Emily's face, pupils dilating as she struggles to focus her eyes to Shin. Monster. You're a monster. You're not human. You're not human. Her muscle spasms one last time, and the cotton doll goes still. Only the chalk white gelatinous eyeballs still reflect Shin's wild, ecstatic face. I am not human? I am not human? Shin mulls over the short line for a moment, then bursts into laughter. She looks up and glances around the empty room as if searching for some higher being guiding her, or as if nothing here is worthy of her notice. So, that's it? That's how it is. This explains everything. I am not human. So I was born different from my father and mother, my teachers and professors. I am not one of those shallow creatures. That's why I could never be satisfied. Those are the meaningless constraints of lower life forms. Only here, beyond the grasp of human society, can unpressed emotions guide me to a higher place, to where my desires reside. Mutation? No, this is evolution. A chosen path that shallow humans could never imagine. Everything now has an explanation. Her divergence from humanity, her innate sense of otherness, all of it. She cups her face, muttering to herself in a trance. Having never truly opened her heart to another soul, this is the first time in her life she regrets that there's no second being here to share her joy. Is this the joy of deep sea pioneers first breaking the surface? The joy of evolution's forerunners taming their new limbs? In this instant, her happiness knew no bounds, transcending her imagination as it climbs toward the unknowable sublime. What the fuck? Right before her eyes, Emily's body moves. This is no trick of residual bioelectricity, but something happening in another dimension. Something is slowly squeezing out of her body. I knew it! Fucking knew it! Oh my god! No! It's there! Oh my god, I'm scared! Shin watches in shock as the mask crawls out from the cleft, like a cell shedding its membrane. Wrapped in the slimy felt from the human viscera, it swells and expands, rising, growing toward the sky in a twisted rhythm, like a mollusk riding free from its egg casing. The moment it fully emerges, an overwhelming pressure engulfs Shin, making it almost impossible to truly look at the being. She can only surrender her every sense to the phenomenon and to the memory it brings. It's you! We briefly met before above the pole. You are what I have always been seeking, the miracle, the ultimate destination of life beyond humanity. Yet, it doesn't spare her a glance and departs like a tide receding from the shore, leaving no echo behind. Shin remains motionless for a long time, staring transfixed in the direction Ed had gone. Then suddenly, she smiles. No. I was thinking too superficially. True revelation and guidance wouldn't stop at just that. I am not human? Of course I'm not. But the real answer lies beyond that conclusion. I am not human. Then what am I? Having shed my human shell, where should I go? Lunatic, demon, monster? I am all of them, and none of them. The answer is right here. My ideal form of life. She throws her head back, letting out a cry that is half laugh, half sob, her fervent, manic gaze both viscous and searing. I want to welcome you. I too must evolve into an existence like you. It's Apostle. An apostle? As in, like the apostle of ashes we know of? Oh my fucking god. And also, is the reason why the creature that got out of Emily's body did not gaze at Shin is because she doesn't feel any emotions, negative emotions, like what happened in the Eternal Nightmare. Oh my fucking god, that's intense, man. What psychological horror this is. I was just wishing, I wish, I would write a psychological horror story in Eternal Nightmare, and we actually got it right here. This Mirage is much worse than the Eternal Nightmare. Holy fuck! Whew. 5 months later. Thank you, Miss Shin, for agreeing to this interview. It's an honor to be the first to interview you after your survival from the polar expedition. First of all, I just want to say, welcome back. Many experts said it was impossible to survive a polar storm like that. In fact, you're the sole survivor. It's nothing short of a miracle. Yes, I never thought I'd make it out alive either. To be honest, there are still moments when I think this warm, peaceful place is just a dream I'm having in the frigid cold. Girl, did she just say that in such a serene, calm face? I can't believe her. She's such a best actress. She needs an Oscar award, Academy Award, all awards, man. Good fucking lord. This lady is good. On camera, Shin wears a weak smile on her pallid face, her hands still trembling as they cradle a mug of hot drink, evidence that her body has yet to recover from the terrible ordeal. They don't know she caused all the chaos, and she killed all those people. Oh my god. It was a miracle, yes, but not one granted by God. It was a miracle built on the sacrifice of my entire team. My deepest condolences. I can only imagine the physical and mental trauma you've endured in this tragedy. Yet the first thing you do upon your rescue is call this press conference to share your data and findings. The reporter's eyes hold a mix of sympathy, awe, and anticipation. Shin knows what they want, and she knows how she can use them for her purposes. Why are you doing Why are you doing this? Is it a way of mourning your team? Or does it reflect your commitment to science? Shin traces the rim of the mug with a finger. The scalding liquid beads on her fingertip like a tear before dropping to the floor. During our last days at the pole, supplies were dangerously low. We had to minimize all activity. As a scholar, as the one they did everything to protect, thinking was the only thing I could do. And I kept thinking, what is the responsibility of the one who survives? All of those records, all of that data, they were brought with the lives of my team. I will not allow anyone to waste them, not even myself. Girl. The audacity of this bitch. She killed everyone. And yet she says, I'm not going to waste. Well, I'll guess. Yeah, she did not waste their lives. And in her point of view, she did not waste their lives because it was such a successful experiment. So, it's less about mourning or academic pursuits and more of an obsession, a need to put this on display. I want the entire world to know what existed there, what we encountered. I won't let it fade away into nothing. As expected, having looked over the paper she published not long ago, the reporter is overcome with excitement. Her eyes grow moist and wild as she leans closer to Shin. And you did it! You really did it! The entire academia is shaken by your papers on the Abyssal. It fills a gap that has existed for decades. It's the true embodiment of the scientific spirit. I know that you agreed to this interview not for any other reason, but because you want to solicit global support for your new project to track down other apostles. Oh dear Lord. Is this where her comrades in the eternal nightmare comes in? The reporter turns to face the camera, voice swelling with passion, enunciating every word to paint a portrait of a hero returning from the abyss. To overcome the horror of her tragic experience and for the sake of human progress, voluntarily embark on a journey back into the fray to once again face those intelligent non-mammalian beings shrouded in mystery. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Shin, a true researcher for our time. Thank you. But without the materials my team gave up their lives to secure, we would still be ignorant of the extraordinary biological evolution taking place in those uncharted waters. My work isn't groundbreaking. It's merely a prelude. I don't like the sound of that. Shin pauses as if lost in memory or reflecting on something profound. The word materials tastes a little sweet on her tongue. A little sticky, like the formless, unknowable shadow gently caressing the roof of her mouth. What we witnessed wasn't just an unclassified species, but a mode of existence that could shake the foundations of evolutionary theory. It challenges us with the question, is humanity's understanding of marine life and evolution really as complete as we think? What I want to say through this program is that we cannot stop at that one chance encounter. If we abandon the pursuit, if we stop our research, we will never know whether what we heard was an echo of evolution or a true calling. As pioneers for humanity, it is the duty of researchers like me to pursue it, to study it. It's a mirror, a doorway, a possibility of what we could become. It will change everything, even the very way we exist. Her tone is measured, never rising in passion, but even the crew is captivated by her sermon. It's her power at work again, irresistibly drawn to the future she paints. The evolution she describes, the seed has been sown. Oh God! She's about to drag more people! She's about to drag more people into her scheme. Wait, let me drink some water. Cheers. Inside the temporary outpost, the desk is buried under meteorological charts, incident files, local newspapers, some recent, some yellowed with age. Anomalous fluctuations and sightings have been reported in these waters for a long time. All the relevant data is here. The key takeaway is that multiple independent sources have claimed to have seen a large floating mass in the same location. Could be caused by regular mutant whale pod migrations, though we can't rule out an isolated mutant whale individual or even a carcass. She bends over a nautical chart, making notations. As her fingertip presses the edge, wet ink stains. As her fingertip presses the edge, wet ink stains it a dull red. She doesn't wipe it away. Instead, she seems to be confirming some kind of mark. What are you doing? The maritime accident records for this area are crude. Not much to go on. We should conduct a field investigation. Oh no! Oh no! Girl! She's about to drag more people! You just got back from the southern hemisphere a couple of days ago. You're going out on the investigation again? These rumors have been around for a while. We can handle it. Or you could at least rest for a few more days. The target location isn't too far from the shore. It's fine. Besides, we've come up empty 3 times in a row. Everyone is desperate for some good news, some affirmation that our pilgrimage is on the right path, right? Shin smiles reassuringly, her tone relaxed and confident. She flips through the atlas with practiced care, like a believer turning the pages of a beloved scripture. Her movements fluid, almost ritualistic. The researcher falls silent. Consider it my self-indulgence and a kind of prayer that by walking this road myself, I may have my wish come true. God damn it. There was a tsunami recently. The whole area is in chaos, both land and sea. Not ideal for our investigation. We did pick up some strange radio waves before and after the tsunami, but it's hard to say what caused them. Oh my god, I think it's the creature who caused the tsunami. The oceanographer gazes at the sea. The waters are murky, littered with debris. In such hectic conditions, neither I nor machine can detect anything of value. But she stares in a particular direction, without a shred of doubt, as if something out of there is whispering to her. As if she knows in her heart that the apostle she pursues is near. Besides, the nearby witnesses' reports are hardly credible. For instance, a tourist diving in the area claimed he heard some massive creature breathing. Shin? That has to be an ordinary auditory hallucination, right? Hearing this, Shin looks down and thumbs through a growing stack of printouts, stopping at the death toll from large capsized ships. She looks at the number, a symbol of disaster, and a fleeting smile crosses her lips. What now? She wants those sacrifices for the apostle, huh? Oh dear Lord, that's why she smiled. It's like, oh my child. I think in Shin's mind, it's like, oh my child, it's growing so well, it's feeding so well. I am so proud of you. Holy fuck! Scary. She's a scary mom. A yandere mom. Hallucinations are certainly possible, But we are working in a field with no rules or precedents. Common sense isn't a reliable guide. Besides, I have a hunch. What that tourist felt was a real apostle. A hunch. Right. Well, given the current conditions, it could be some time before we can verify your hypothesis. So for now, we should... It's here! Miss Shin, it's really appeared! It's the same waveform you showed in your paper. It's extremely similar. The cabin erupts in commotion as people rush to the screens to get a look, but Shin remains in place, her expression mysterious and content. She experienced all this firsthand. It's not similar. It's the same breath that once whispered against her ear. Oh God! I knew it. I knew you haven't abandoned me. We were never truly separated. We share a connection. I can feel you calling. I won't let this guidance go to waste. I will come to your side. Oh, oh. Frankly, we're all amazed by this. This is a woman. Frankly, we're all amazed by the accuracy of your surveillance deployment. How do you predict that an apostle would show up in this region? Based on data analysis and inductive modeling, we cross-validated data from around the globe, ran a co-integration analysis, and built an inferential framework that achieved a certain degree of a priori judgment. But nobody ever done anything like this. A prediction this precise? A lot of people are saying it's so different from prophecy. What do you think of this claim, Shin? Radio waves carry the man's sensational voice to Shin, who's participating remotely in this press conference. She doesn't let this faze her one bit. Her eyes continuing to scan the report in front of her. Her tone perfectly even. It's simply pattern recognition, sir. We are conducting scientific research, not a mystical ritual. But every witness said that was no mutated organism. They said it was a monster crawling out of hell. You've been studying these apostles for a long time, Shin. Have you never once thought that yourself? In research, we often encounter phenomena that can't yet be explained. But that's only because our knowledge hasn't caught up. If we continue our research, perhaps one day we can not only understand and predict these creatures, but also raise and create them as well. As she speaks, her gaze is still fixed on the data, on the numbers that represent lives lost. But her eyes are full of anticipation, as if she's witnessing the birth of a miracle. To her, these cold digits and probabilities lead toward whirlpools where new possibilities are spawned. Oh my god! She's murdering people in cold blood! Well... Yeah, we just... another case of we cannot save her, but she's hot. What a shocking statement, but that kind of ambition is what science needs. It seems nothing can stop you from pushing your research further. Perhaps you can expect your work to lead humanity to a new stage of life? I can only say that my life's ambition is to fully analyze the true nature of the apostle, and then to bring the most superior parts of their life form to humanity as a blessing for all. Shin smiles gracefully. That smile is no longer hollow. Instead, it's rapturous and satisfied. The smile of a fanatic willing to sacrifice everything as long as she possesses them for an absurd miracle. Oh God. The dim yellow light casts long shadow across the desk. Outside, the night is as heavy, frozen curtain of deep sea black. Shin is poring over a data set when she's interrupted by a timid knock at the door. She turns around. Miss Shin, a message just came in. A ship ran into some trouble at one of your monitoring points. It seems it's the ship of a corporate group that approaches us before. Trouble? What sort of trouble? Her tone is as calm as ever, but not out of indifference to misfortune. Rather, it's the calm of someone who has foreseen the outcome and is merely seeking confirmation. She's expecting more dead people, I think. She doesn't ask what happened, but whether it happened as she expected. Seems they lost contact during a freak storm. Based on their registered ship specs, the chance of survival is extremely low. A lot of people knew about those negotiations, mission. They won't pin it on us, will they? No need to worry. Anyone who looks into this will only find that our partnership was never finalized. They chose a smaller vessel and went to the monitoring point behind my back. Those greedy people made their own choice. This has nothing to do with us, and it requires no intervention on our parts, unless... Shin looks up, meeting the researcher's eyes. The lamplight's pulse in her pupils, making them darker still. The abyssal voids beneath whirlpools, hungry to consume the fated sacrifices. It's interesting how the Mirage describes Shin's eyes as black, similar to like a black abyss, something like that. And yet we know her eyes are blue. Does no one notice? Only us, the readers, who notices this change in her. Yes, right. The waveform did show signs of a potential birth. One of the apostles that fits our data parameters, our data patterns. In that case, it is a matter of scientific interest. Perhaps it's time we prepare for a field expedition. The corners of her lips finally curl upward. She can almost see it, a thin membrane quietly tearing on a distant sea, a hidden hatchling about to slither free, a fate she designed, ready to welcome the birth she has long awaited. What the fuck? Oh! It disappeared. People bustle in and out of the temporary camp, unloading supplies and assembling instruments in a steady stream. But no one enters the tent to interrupt Shin. She stares at an old map, its countless points and lines converging on a single coordinate, a sole possibility. Around her are the fruits of a decade of hard work. People, resources, timing, everything perfectly in place. This is her final check. Even when her dream is within reach, she doesn't allow herself to relax. Finally, it's about to begin. To come this far and stand at the starting point of evolution. How fortunate. Everyone has played their parts so well. Now, it's time for me to finish mine. She murmurs to herself, her lips slowly curving into a smile, like a silent and moving fissure in the deep, chilling to the bone, as if some alien will is soundlessly seeping out from her form. Oh God. The origin of everything, the end of life, the answer of all things. Yes, we will find it. I will lead everyone to it. What? I thought we're done. What? A breeze lifts a corner of Shin's notebook, and she has to press the page down. Behind her, crew members carrying equipment occasionally cross the deck, their movements adding to the restless energy in the air. Oh my god, here it is! Here it is! Air! So this is where it started, the story from the eternal nightmare. Oh god. Oh god. They're all going to die. And also it's the same place where Chief where we last saw Chief in the last scene of the eternal nightmare, and then she was holding Shin's notebook. The same notebook she's holding right now. The Shin, there you are. We're about ready to set off. Should we go over the details one more time? The crew's got a case of the jitters, a bit of excitement too. Figured we should tighten things up a bit. There's no need to be hard on them. This is the first time for all of us, myself included, in these unknown waters off the sea. It's only natural to be on edge. Shin's gaze sweeps over the deceptively calm surface of the sea, her quiet voice filled with emotion. This deep dive team is a new attempt in itself. My own experience might not mean much out there. In that sense, we're all equals before the sea. All that matters is that we're ready to gather data and to learn. You got a point. You educated folks sure have a way with words. Just hearing you say that makes me feel more at ease. To be honest, I was a bit nervous myself. Afraid a rough guy like me couldn't be much help to a great scientist like you. Following her example, the captain gazes out over the sea and stretches his limbs. First thing we do is deploy the collectors, right? Now that I know how to do. Now that I know how to do. Makes me feel a whole lot better knowing some jobs are pretty much the same no matter what sea you're on. That's right. Our crew members are all elite professionals. I trust that you'll carry out your duties perfectly. No matter the environment, that will be the cornerstone. That will be the cornerstone of our exploration. The engine driving our understanding of the sea. She speaks softly, her voice as gentle as the sea breeze. Without realizing it, the crew members have gathered nearby, quietly listening to her words of trust and encouragement. Well, in that case, you're definitely the rocket thruster of this deep dive team. Miss Shin, I've been on my share of expeditions with all those stuck-up professors, and they all say you're the real deal. The burly man gives a clumsy thumbs up, drawing quite a few chuckles from the crowd. You're the one studying those apostles, right? Since you're here, does it mean we've got a good chance of running into one of those things? It's difficult to give you a definitive answer. I've spent 10 years tracking this species, and I still feel like I'm only guessing, just following their trail. But I can say that it's very likely. Over the years, I've collected as much data as I can on their movement trajectories from around the world. I found that they all seem to be converging on a single coordinate. This location is the most probable match, so... So, you volunteered to come here yourself? Miss Shin, I heard the apostles are dangerous, let alone in the sea. That's even more dangerous, aren't you afraid? A lively crewman cuts in. His tone is casual, almost joking, but his eyes are fixed on her. Shin scans the crowd. He knows that though only one person spoke, many are waiting for her answer. This is bad for my throat, man. Of course I am, but fear has never stopped me. From the very first time I stepped aboard a research vessel, I've always believed one thing: marine life is changing at an unprecedented pace. At least five populations under observations are exhibiting mating and hunting behaviors that don't match our expectations. It's like they're mutating, evolving, turning into entirely new life forms. Deep sea species, in particular, ancient, isolated, and resistant to change, are the farthest removed from human perception and imagination. But our technology has been compromised by the perishing star. Established methods are no longer reliable, and the ocean grows more dangerous every day. Perhaps one day, we'll lose our ability to explore the ocean's forbidden zones altogether. Before that happens, we should at least try to understand the nascent biological order. Maybe someday, it will become humanity's lifeline. To expand horizons, build foundations, and pave the way. This is what science and research mean to me. This is my purpose and my reason for being here. A brief silence, followed by thunderous applause. The first members of the deep dive team clapped their hands, their eyes shining with reverence and trust for Shin. The sound lacks order, but it has a piercing strength. Well said, Miss Shin. That's the true spirit of science. The spirit of expedition. Dedicating oneself to science? I've heard plenty of people say that, but you're the only one I believe, Miss Shin. Oh, and the other big names on the expedition, I believe them too. Even an old salt like me is getting fired up. Never mind these young pops. All right, you lot, listen up. Save the energy for where it counts. For Miss Shin's sake, our deep dive team is gonna work as one. Oh, they don't know. They don't know. They don't know the shit that's about to happen. Who's this? What's the matter? Amidst the hubbub, a figure suddenly emerges from the water and climbs into the deck, dripping water. She pulls off her helmet, letting her long, thick hair down. Her misty eyes take in the excited crowd in bewilderment. It's Pilgia. Pilgia, according to the EM pronunciation. I just checked. It's clear below. No danger. Are we ready? Should we head out? Thank you for checking the conditions underwater, Pilgia. Well, since all preparations are made and spirits are high, it's time to set off. I'm certain we'll get the data and the results we're hoping for. Yeah! Everyone gets into position, ready to go. The vessel slowly pulls away from the safety of the shore and heads into the sea. But no one feels anxiety or fear. Oh God. Soon. Almost there. Yes, almost there. 10 years, and now I'm finally approaching the end. The final answer. The gentle oceanographer has indeed set course for them all into an abyss of no return, to sink into its grace and embrace, and the welcome transformation and rebirth. Oh God. As the resonance transforms into a cold pulse, piercing every inch of her consciousness, she finally understands the future is meant to be this painful, this beautiful. I'm fucking speechless. what a psychological suspenseful ride that was. And well, yeah, I think we could put Shin on top of the um evil ladies in Paths to Nowhere, together with, let's see, together with Cabernet, Yugu, Cabernet, Yugu. The third one is Shin. I think also we could add more there. My collection of hot sussy ladies is increasing, and I gotta thank Aisna for that. Thank you. Please, please, please make some more. I love my unhinged sinners, man. Unhinged hot sinners. Good lord. Do I consider Shin as a there? I think she is. Especially when we saw her, how she's so obsessed with Chief in the Eternal Nightmare. Yeah, I think I can consider her as Yandere. But I hope we could get a more Yandere sinners in this game. That's my kind of... That's just my fantasy. You can make whatever you want, Ice now. Just surprise me. And I'll take anything. Anyway, that was amazing. What a fucking ride that was. Wow. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am just speechless. Ice is very, very good at setting up the atmosphere and the writing. Bravo. And I will read through this. I'm not sure when. Even I got a lot of unread mirages. I'll work on it. I promise, guys. Promise I will work on it. Yeah, I promise we'll work on this. We got more space for more immortals. Oh god. Anyway, we'll work on this. But I think the next one would be Sean, I think. We need something light for an interrogation. Anyway, Otsu Cheatery, this video has already become so long. See you all next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe, okay? See you all next time. Bye-bye.